Hello everyone, this is Luigi, and welcome to my Let's Play of Katawa Shoujo. Katawa Shoujo is a game about this lucky fellow right here, Hisao, and well, we can get into the story once we do this. Now, I'm not playing on full screen mode so that I can record using Camtasia. I am not going to disable the adult content, I'll just put something over it to block it out so I can actually put these videos on YouTube, because yes, this game has adult content. These are all my options, whatever. I'm just gonna be using my mouse because that's really all you have to use in this game to the best of my knowledge. I've played the first hour and a half of this game, that's all I've played, so that's all I'm probably going to be recording these in 20-minute segments, and I'm going to be acting as if I am the main character, Hisao. A light breeze causes the naked branches overhead to rattle like wooden wind chimes. This is a popular retreat for couples out in the summer. The deciduous trees provide a beautiful green canopy, far out of sight of teachers and fellow students. But now, in late winter, it feels like I'm standing under a pile of kindling. I breathe into my cupped hands and rub them together furiously to prevent them numbing in this cold. Just how long am I supposed to wait out here anyway? I'm sure the note said 4 p.m. Ah yes, the note slipped between the pages of my math book while I wasn't looking. As far as cliches go, I'm more a fan of the letter in the locker, but at least this was a way that shows some bit of initiative. As I ponder the meaning of the note, the snowfall gradually quickens. The snowflakes silently falling from the white painted sky are only sign of time passing in this stagnant world. Their slow descent upon the frozen forest makes it seem like time is slowed to a crawl. The rustling of dry snow underfoot startles me, interrupting the quiet mood. Someone is approaching me from behind. Hisao, you came? A hesitating, barely audible question. However, I recognize the owner of this dainty voice instantly. I feel my heart skip a beat. It's a voice I've listened to hundreds of times, but never as more than an eavesdropper to a conversation. I turn to face this voice, the voice of my dreams, and my heart begins to race. Iwanako? I got a letter telling me to wait here. Is it yours? Damn it, I spent all afternoon trying to come up with a good line, and that was the best result. Pathetic. Yes. I asked a friend to give you that note. I'm so glad you got it. A shy, joyous smile that makes you feel so tense I can't move a single muscle if I tried. My heart is pounding now, as if it were trying to burst from my chest and claim this girl for itself. So, here we are, out in the cold. Once again, the wind stirs up the branches. The cacophonous noise is music to my ears. Iwanako flinches ever so softly against the gust of wind. As it passes, she rights herself as if supported by some new confidence. Her eyes lock with mine as she lazily twirls her long, dark hair around her finger. All the while, the anxious beating of my heart grows louder. My throat is tight. I doubt I could even force a word out if I tried. You see, I wanted to know if you'd go out with me. I stand there motionless, save for my pounding heart. I want to say something in reply, but my vocal cords feel like they've been stretched beyond their breaking point. Hisao? I reach up and try to massage my throat, but this only sends spikes of blinding pain along my arms. Hisao! My whole body freezes, save my eyes, which shoot open in terror. Hisao! The beating in my chest suddenly stops, and I go weak at the knees. The world around me, the canopy of bare branches, dull winter sky, Iwanako running towards me. All of this fades to black. The last things I remember before slipping away are the sounds of Iwanako screaming for help and the incessant clatter of the branches above. Four Leaf Studios presents Katawa Shoujo. It's been 4 months since my heart attack that day. In that whole time, I can probably count the times I've left this hospital route unsupervised on one hand. 4 months is a pretty long time when you're alone with your thoughts, so I've had plenty of time to come to terms with my situation. Arrhythmia. A strange word, a foreign, alien word, one that you don't want to be in the same room with. A rare condition. It causes the heart to act erratically and occasionally beat way too fast. It can be fatal. Apparently I've had it forever. And they said it was a miracle that I was able to go on so long without anything happening. Is it really a miracle? I guess it was supposed to make me feel better, more appreciative of my life. It really didn't do anything to cheer me up though. My parents, I think, were hit harder by the news than I was. They practically had 2 hemorrhages apiece. I had already had a full day by then to digest everything. To them, it was all fresh. They were even willing to sell our house in order to pay for a cure. Of course, there isn't a cure. Because of the late discovery of this condition, I've had to stay at the hospital to recuperate from the treatments. When I was first admitted, I felt as if I was missed. For about a week, my room was in ward full of flowers, balloons, and cards. But the visitors soon dwindled, and all the get-well gifts began trickling down to nothing shortly after. I realized that the only reason I had gotten so many cards and flowers was because sending me their symphony had been turned into a class project, of course. Maybe some people were genuinely concerned, but I doubt it. Even in the beginning, I barely had visitors. By the end of the first month, only my parents came by on a regular basis. Iwanako was the last to stop visiting. After 6 weeks, I never saw her again. We never had much to talk about when she visited anyway. We didn't touch the subject that was between us on that snowy day ever again. The hospital? It's not really a place I'd like to live in. The doctors and nurses feel so impersonal and faceless. I guess it's because they were in a hurry and they had a million other patients waiting for them, but it makes me feel uncomfortable. For the first month or so, I asked the head cardiologist every time I saw him for a rough estimate of when I'd be able to leave. He never answered anything in a straightforward way, but he told me to see if the treatment and surgery worked. So I idly observed the scar that those surgeries had left on my chest slowly change its appearance over time, thinking of it as some kind of omen. I still ask the head cardiologist about leaving, but my expectations are low enough now that I'm not disappointed anymore when I don't get a reply. The way he shovels around shows the answer, that there is at least some hope. At some point I stopped watching the TV. I don't know why, I just did. Maybe it was the wrong kind of escapism for my situation. I started reading instead. There was a small library at the hospital, although it was more like a storeroom for books. I began working my way through it, one small stack at a time. After consuming them, I would go back for more. I found that I liked reading, and I think I became a little bit addicted. I started feeling naked without a book in my hands, but I loved the stories. And that was what my life was like. The days became increasingly harder to distinguish from each other, differing only by the book I was reading and the weather outside. It felt like time blurred to some kind of gooey mass I was trapped inside, instead of moving within. A week could go by without me really noticing it. Sometimes I'd pause in realization that I didn't know what day of the week it was. But other times, all of the things surrounding me would painfully crash into my consciousness, though the barrier of nonchalance I had set up for myself. The pages of my book would start to feel sharp and burning hot, and the heaviness in my chest would become so hard to bear that I had to put the book aside and just lay down for a while, look at the ceiling as if I was going to cry. But that only happened rarely, and I couldn't even cry. Today, the doctor comes in and gives me a smile. He seems excited, but not very. It's like he's trying to make an effort to be happy on my behalf. My parents are here. It's been only a few days since I've last seen them. Both of them are dressed up. Is this supposed to be some sort of special occasion? Not a party. There is this ritual the head cardiologist has. He takes his time sorting his papers, then setting them aside as if to make a point of the pointlessness of what he just did. Then he casually sits down on the edge of the bed next to mine. He looks me in the eyes for a moment. Hello, Hisao. How are you today? I don't answer him, but I smile a little back at him. I believe you can go home. Your heart is stronger now, and with some precautions, you should be fine. We have all of your medicine sorted out. I'll give your father the prescription. The doctor hands a sheet of paper to my dad, whose expression turns wooden as he reads it quickly. There's so many. I take it from his hand and look for myself, feeling numb. How am I supposed to react to this? The absurdly long list of medications staring back at me from the paper seems insurmountable. They all blend together in a sea of letters. This is insane. Side effects, adverse effects, contradictions, and dosages are listed line after line with cold precision. I try to read them, but it's so futile. I can't understand any of this. Attempting only makes me feel sicker. All this for the rest of my life, every day. I'm afraid that this is the best we can do at this point. However, new medications are always being developed, and I won't be surprised to see that list fade over the years. Years? What kind of confidence booster is that? I'd have felt better if he hadn't said anything at all. Also, I've spoken with your parents and we believe that it would be best if you don't return to your old school. What? Please calm down, Hisao. Listen to what the doctor has to say. Calm down? The way he says it tells me he knew full well I wouldn't like it. Am I supposed to be homeschooled? Whatever of my concern shows is ignored. We all understand that your education is paramount. However, I don't think that it's wise for you to be without supervision. At least not until we're sure that your medication is suitable. So I've spoken to your parents about a transfer. It's a school called Yamaku Academy that specializes in dealing with disabled students. Disabled? What? Am I? It is a 24-hour nursing staff and it's only a few minutes, but it's a highly regarded general hospital. The majority of the students live on the campus. Think of it as a boarding school of sorts. It's designated to give students a degree of independence while keeping help nearby. Independence is a school for disabled kids. Don't try to disguise it. If I was really that free, there wouldn't be a 24-hour nursing staff, and you wouldn't make a hospital being nearby a selling point. Of course, that's only if you want to go. But your mother and I aren't really able to homeschool you. We went there and had a look a couple of weeks back. I think you'd like it. It looks like I don't really have a choice. Compared to the other heart problems, people with your condition tend to live long lives. You'll get a good job one day, and this is a good opportunity to continue your education. This isn't an opportunity, don't call it one. Just don't call it a goddamned opportunity. Well, you should be excited at the chance to go back to school. I remember you wanted to return to school, and it's not And while it's not the same one, a special school, that's an insult. That's what I want to say. It's a step down. It's not what you think. All the students down there are pretty active in their own sort of way. It's geared towards students that can still get around and learn, but they just need a little help in one way or another. Your father's right. Many of the graduates of that school have gone on to do amazing things. A person doesn't have to be held back by their disability. One of my colleagues in another hospital is a graduate. I don't care. A person doesn't have to be held back by their disability. That's what a disability is. I really hate that something out of life so important was decided for me. But what can I do about it? A normal life is out of the question now. It's funny. I'd always thought my life was actually kind of boring, but now I miss it. I want to protest. I want to blame this lack of reaction on shock or fatigue. I could easily yell something out now. Something about how I can go back to school anyway. But no. I don't say anything. The fact is, I know it's now futile. I look around the room, feeling very tired of all this. The hospital's doctors, my condition, everything. I don't see anything that would make me feel any different. There isn't really a choice, I know this. But the thought of going to a disabled school, what are those even like? I try to put a positive spin on this. It's very difficult. But let me try. A clean slate isn't that bad. That is all I can get through this. At least I have something. Even if it is a special school, it's something. It's a fresh start, and my life isn't over. It would be a mistake to resign myself overthinking that. At the very least, I'll try to see what my new life will look like. And so, that is the prologue for Katawa Shoujo. And now we begin Act 1, Life Expectancy. Now, as you can probably tell by this point, this game is completely text-driven, so I don't think there will be any action scenes or anything of that sort, but I don't know because I've only played through the first hour and a half. The gate looked far too pompous for what it was. In fact, gates in general seem to do that, but this one especially so. Red bricks, black wrought iron, and gray plaster, assembled into a whole that didn't feel welcoming at all. I wondered if it looked like a gate for a school should look like, but couldn't really decide. Probably not. Of course, I didn't want to get stuck on about the gate for too long, so I entered with a brisk pace, and it felt surprisingly good. Moving forward feels good. So I walked towards the main building of Yamaku Academy at a brisk pace. I'm alone, as my parents are taking my stuff to the dorm. There's supposed to be someone waiting for me. The grounds are incredibly lush, filled with green. It doesn't feel like kind of a grounds the school would have, more like a park, with a clean walkway going past trees and the smell of fresh cut grass and all other park-like things. The words clean and hygienic pop into my head, and it makes me shudder. I shake them off. Stay open-minded now. It's your new life. You have to take it as it comes. That is what I tell myself. A few big buildings loom behind the leaf canopies. Too big and too many for just any school. Everything seems off. It's different from what I thought I knew about schools. It's an uncanny valley. Even though I was told this is my new school, in the back of my head it doesn't feel like one. I wonder if this feeling is real or caused by my expectations of a school for the disabled. Speaking of that, I don't see anyone else here. It's kind of eerie. It makes me wish there was somebody here that I could anchor myself to something tangible instead of having this feeling that I stepped into another dimension. The trees hum in the wind and green hues flash all around me to catch my attention. It makes me think of hospitals again, how they say that the operating rooms are painted green because green is a calming color. Why am I so anxious, despite all this greenery? Only after I stand in front of the haughty main building, I surprise myself by realizing why the gate bothered me. It was the last chance I had to turn back, even if I had no life I could return to. But still, after entering, there was absolutely no way I could go back anymore. Feeling nervous and without this realization in my head, I opened the front door. A tall man with a bad posture notices me as I enter. We're the only people in the lobby, so it's only logical. You must be Niki? Nakai. So you are. Excellent. I'm your homeroom and science teacher. My name is Muto. Welcome. We exchange a handshake that is neither firm nor sloppy, and he will access watch. The head nurse asked for a brief check-in visit, but there's no time for that now. Oh, should I go later? Yes, afternoon is probably fine. We should get going and introduce yourself to the rest of the class. They're probably waiting. Waiting for me? I don't really like being the center of attention, but I guess it's inevitable in a situation like this. Somehow not knowing what is waiting for me makes me feel really nervous. Thinking of this, I almost miss what the teacher is saying. Do you want to introduce yourself to your class? Yeah, I will introduce myself. Yeah, sure, I mean, isn't that normal? Of course, but not everybody likes being the center of attention. I'm probably one of those people, but I guess I should be the one to give the first impression of myself. Right, but it's no problem. Let's go then. My heart is pounding in my chest, and it keeps me thinking about my condition as I follow the teacher up the stairs. The third floor on the third corridor does the classroom for class 3-3. Muto opens the door and enters. Good morning, everyone. Sorry I'm late again. I hesitate for a split second at the door, freezing on the spot. Get a grip. This is a big step, I know that. But there isn't any point in worrying too much about it. At least not so soon. I follow the teacher into the classroom and look around, partially so I won't have to meet the curious gaze of my new classmates. It's pretty spacious, the ceiling is unusually high, and there's lots of space left over around and in between the desks. An entire wall is taken up by blackboards, and the high old-fashioned windows make it seem larger. The students' desks are just standard wooden and with a shelf underneath for the books, and the wooden chairs with metal frames. Simple and effective. I stop walking in the classroom and face the other students. They all look normal, like students in any other high school, but then again, why would they be here? They're probably like me and have something wrong with them, and it's not just immediately obvious. Then I notice that one of the girls seems to be missing the thumb of her right hand. It's a little jarring. Despite the natural tendency when it's someone's talking about you, I tune out the speaker's speech halfway while he introduces me to the class. I notice a flash of dark hair and see that someone is looking at me. A girl with really long straight hair that is pretty eye-catching as she sees me looking at her. She covers her face with her hand as if it makes her invisible. There is one boy with a cane leaning against the lockers at the rear of the class. It is weird seeing someone so young with a cane, and that the girl seems to be making weird hand motions. Sign language? She peers at me over the rim of her glasses, then goes back to whatever she's doing. She's kind of cute. So is this cherry-looking girl with pink hair sitting next to her. She's really hard to miss. I don't know how I didn't notice her from the moment I walked in. Please welcome our newest classmate. He claps his hand, and so does everyone else, except the girl in the first row who only has one hand. I cringe a little, but hide it by bowing in thanks for this applause that I do not deserve. A collective silence tells me that I should open my mouth now. So I'm Hisao Nakai. And after that, my hobbies are reading and soccer. I hope to get along well with everyone, even though I'm a new student. And after that, I'm being so boring. This is exactly like every single self-introduction ever. I should say something more exciting. I end up saying nothing, and the teacher picks up from there. Everyone seems to be satisfied with what little I said. A few girls are whispering to each other, throwing glances at me. Could have gone worse. I listen to the teacher as he drones out about getting along, while letting my gaze sweep across the classroom. Everyone seems to be listening to him intently, and when he's done, they clap their hands again, which feels like a weird thing to do. The first row girl claps on this round, with one of her hand against the other wrist, ends in a bandage stump. Makes me feel a little bad. We're going to be doing some group work today, so that'll give you a chance to talk with everyone. That okay with you? Yeah, it's fine with me. That's good. You can work with Hakama Michi. She's a class rep. She can explain everything you want to know, and who else would be able to do that better, right? How could I know? The teacher passes out the day's assignments and announces that we'll be working in groups of 3. It hits me that I don't even know who Hakamichi is. Slow. The teacher seems to catch my helpless expression. Oh right, Hakamichi is right there. Shizune Hakamichi. As he calls out her name, the cute, bubbly-looking girl with bright pink hair and gold eyes waves her hand at me. I take a seat next to her by the window. Hey, I guess you're Hakamichi, right? It's nice to meet you. Ha ha ha! What? I'm caught off guard by her laughter.
It's nice to meet you too, but I'm not Hakamichi. I'm Misha. This is Hakamichi Shichan.
Giggling, Misha points to the girl next to her, the one I saw using sign language before. It looks like she's been staring at me this whole time. She nods once nonchalantly towards me, too. She acknowledges my presence, but only barely. She has short yet carefully neatly brushed hair, and a pair of oval-shaped glasses balanced on the tip of her dainty nose, and the dark blue eyes that seem to alternate every few seconds between analytical and slightly bored. It's nice to meet you. She immediately looks at Misha, who smiles and makes a few quick gestures with her hand. Hakamichi nods and makes a few gestures of her own. I start to wonder if the teacher is messing with me, saying things like you'll be able to talk to people, and who better explain things to you.
I can see you're a little confused, Ray. But I understand why you would be. Why, you think I was Shichan? Shichan is deaf, so I'm the person who translates things back and forth to her. I'm like an interpreter. She says it's nice to meet you as well. You're the new student, aren't you? Well, Shichan, of course he is. If he wasn't, he wouldn't have been standing up there for no reason, right? Right! He seems like a very interesting person, doesn't he? We all knew that there was going to be a new student, but we didn't know you'd be here today so soon. Hee-chan, right?
Hee-chan?
Yep, it fits, doesn't it?
They say that out loud. It's just a surprise. I never liked that nickname. I don't really see how.
It fits. You look just like I imagined. Haha, you really do just look like a Hee-chan.
I wonder why everyone seems to think so. Hakamichi taps her fingers on the desk to get Misha's attention. They gesture back and forth to each other excitedly, their hands blur. Misha seems a little overwhelmed.
Haha, sorry about that. Shichan wants you to know that she's the class rep, so if there's anything you need to know, you can feel free to ask her. Do you like the school so far? We can show you around a little if you haven't had the time to walk around and...
Yeah. Do you like the school so... Oh, shit, I missed that. Misha stumbles with a hard word a bit, making it stick out in her otherwise fluid translation. Thanks, that would be pretty helpful. I just came straight to class today.
Ha ha ha. That's no good. You should always try and learn about
As much as you can where you're going before you go there.
not just with the school either. Always, even if it's a trip to the convenience store. Really, Shichan? Haha.
Learn where you're going. I guess I didn't bother to do that. Or just didn't care enough to do so. I didn't really look forward to this, even if I committed myself to go along with it half-assedly. But anyway, I don't say anything and Misha signs something that ends with a shrug. What was that? It seems like it was about me. I feel like slumping over in my seat. Both of them are smiling, but that shrug hit me unexpectedly deep.
You look down. Are you okay? Don't take it the wrong way, please. I hate it when people are afraid to ask questions. That's how people learn things. By asking. Asking for help is perfectly normal, as much as needing help. Stop looking like you just failed a test, please.
Alright.
Ah, and another thing. You don't have to call Shichan something so formal like Hakamichi or class rep all the time. Just call her Shichan. Haha, okay. Maybe that's too casual. Maybe Shizune would just be more appropriate? Yep, Shizune is fine.
Okay, that'd be a lot easier for me. I feel a lot more at ease. Both of them are so friendly. So I feel like an idiot for being so apprehensive earlier. Especially about Shizune, who I assumed would be all business. Well, she just still seems like that, just less so, I guess.
Huh? Oh right, we haven't even touched the assignment. We should start work now, or Shichan will get mad.
The assignment's kind of long, so we should start now if we want to finish it before the end of class.
Wahaha, that too.
Shizune glances at us too impatiently. I don't need sign language to understand that. Okay, I get the message.
After class, we can walk around on the school grounds together. It's a nice day today, okay?
The assignment is actually very challenging to get through, combining aspects of being both difficult and unnecessarily long. Still, we finished it a few minutes earlier than everyone in the class, despite our late start. Shizune and Misha are really capable. They're quite different, though. The class rep is calm and professional as she looks, while Misha is more playful and girlish, not to mention a little more easily distracted. To be honest, the two of them did most of the work, and I feel a bit guilty about that. The clock tower bell rings, signaling the end of the period. It's time for lunch. Without knowing what else to do, I follow Misha, who is beckoning me into the hallway and down the stairs. We descend even lower than the lobby where I met Muto, down to the bottom floor. Just like everything in the school, the cafeteria seems too spacey and oddly modern in contrast to the classic exterior. Its big windows open to the courtyard towards the main gate.
It's the cafeteria!
Her enthusiastic statement of the obvious makes people all around us stare, but Misha doesn't seem to care, so we proceed to the line. There's a rather long list of menu options, which seems great until I realize many of them are to accommodate students who need special diets. How nice. It almost feels as though I'm back at the hospital, eating portions measured with scientific precision to meet the needs of the patients. I pick something at random and follow Shizune to the table, sitting opposite of her. Sorry. As I nibble indifferently at the food I'd rather not eat, Misha pokes me on the side to get my attention and points to Shizune. I don't understand signs, so the point escapes me. Maybe looking at a person who talks to you is proper and polite?
Do you want to know something?
What?
About anything.
We're your guide, so you should ask if there is something. I wonder. What the check mark means is that's what I asked the first time. And in this Let's Play, I'm going to be acting as though I am Hisao, so the thing that I would choose is I would actually be pretty curious about Shizune. Shizune intrigues me, and I kind of want to ask something about her. But I can't really ask about something that personal, can I? I can't come up with anything else to say, so I just focus on my food while the girls talk between themselves. Misha and Shizune sign back and forth very animatedly, throwing glances at me, but Misha refrains from translating. Maybe they were talking about secret girl stuff or something. I quickly notice the conversation and sign is not enough to fill silence. We arrive in the classroom early, but we're not the first. The dark-haired girl I noticed before slumped over in her desk in the last row. She jumps a little when Misha crosses into the room with an elegance of a rhino. She shrinks deeper into her seat. I can feel her tension all the way from here, as if she were slowly trying to turn into stone just from her presence. Misha and Shizune don't notice or don't mind it. They just walk directly past her to their seats and begin to converse. I'm left wondering about her, even when the classroom slowly fills with other students and finally the teacher. Getting into the rhythm of school feels strange, as if my brain remembers how this is done, but my body doesn't. Towards the end of class, I start yawning and counting the minutes left. I shouldn't be this tired on my first school day. Maybe it's a long time I spent in the hospital that made me like this. I'm feeling physically weak and lifeless. So, I think that at that cut, I'm going to end this video. It's been very, very long, almost 35 minutes. So, this has been Chugluigi. I will see you in the next part of Katawa Shoujo, and I hope you're all enjoying. Talk to you guys later.